No, 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 you. No.
So good afternoon, everyone. Like I've said, I'm just about to introduce Claire onto our session, which is our long-term health conditions coordinator here at the Wellness Center. So Claire, if you don't mind, I'll mute myself.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to see you all again.
Nice to see you.
Oh, can you guys hear me well?
Yes.
Claire, you're the one with the blood pressure.
Yes, I'm the one with the blood pressure. Or I teach things about blood pressure and diabetes and now chronic kidney disease. So I'm going to talk about chronic kidney disease. It is a condition that does link in to high blood pressure and it links into diabetes. So there's no surprises here that I'm going to talk a bit about those conditions as well. Some of the symptoms that comes with high blood pressure and diabetes can also come with chronic kidney disease. But there's a few things to know about chronic kidney disease that differentiates itself from diabetes and high blood pressure. So I'm going to share my screen. Just bear with me.
And could it be on the other side as well? Indian.
No, they said something.
So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Should I admit them? So you guys would probably recognize this slide. I don't know also whether I should introduce myself again. Yeah. So I'm Claire, and I'm the long-term conditions coordinator, and I carry out health checks in Croydon and also give sessions on five aspects. Mute. Okay. I give health checks in Croydon and cover the 5 aspects of health. So we cover exercise, nutrition, fiber, sleep, which is one of our most popular ones, and well-being. And I gave a session.
Everyone has Claire disconnected from your end. It looks like her computer is disconnected. She's back. One moment.
Sorry about that. Technical there. Okay, so chronic kidney disease and the number of sufferers in Croydon. So there are 10% of people who suffer from chronic kidney disease, but the majority of people happen to be Black and South Asian. So that's why that's one of the many reasons why it was added to our project, because we cover heart disease, we cover high blood pressure, we cover diabetes. Because these 2 conditions link in with chronic kidney disease, it just made sense to cover chronic kidney disease as well. So yes, the majority of people who are Black and South Asian happen to suffer from this disease. And this disease is quite serious. Yes, so is high blood pressure and diabetes, but the thing with chronic kidney disease is this: you have two kidneys, and yes, you can survive on one kidney, but once that kidney is impacted to a point where it can no longer function and that kidney disappears, we all know what happens there. I don't need to reveal that to you all. So there's a number of people out there who have chronic kidney disease and they have two kidneys. And that's great, actually. But then you remove that kidney, and yes, you can survive on the one. What we don't want is a number of people surviving on the one kidney and struggling to survive on that one kidney. So if you have two kidneys at the moment, thumbs up. If you have chronic kidney disease and you have two kidneys, again, great. Well, not great, but it's better than having one. But if you do have one and you are suffering, here are just some preventative measures around it. So usually it does come hand in hand with high blood pressure and diabetes, most cases, but there have been cases that I've come across. There is no history of high blood pressure. There isn't a history of diabetes. There's also not even a family history of it. So some of these cases are quite exceptional. It can come down to a number of things. It can come down to genetics. It can come down to, I don't want to use the term being unlucky, but you know, if you happen to be one of those people who have chronic kidney disease and you can't attribute it to anything, then you can actually have a conversation with your doctor to see if they carry out further tests, maybe some tests around genetics that can hopefully answer the question, why do I have chronic kidney disease when I don't have the most obvious signs or symptoms. So high blood pressure, diabetes are associated with chronic kidney disease. But what is chronic kidney disease? Let's get to the point of why I'm here today. So your kidneys are quite exceptional in that they help filter your blood. They help, more importantly, filter the toxins from your blood. So when your kidneys are impacted, there's no surprise that your body just wouldn't function the way it should. You may experience some swelling on the legs. You'll definitely experience extreme fatigue. That's quite common. You will struggle to pee because, of course, your kidneys. Yeah, there's a definite relationship there between your kidneys and just peeing, and I'll get onto that a bit more in a minute. Your kidneys also help balance out hormones, and it helps absorb nutrients. So it's quite important for a lot of things to help your body function properly.
What is it?
Oh, I thought I was.
No.
Okay. So yeah, and like I said before, there are cases where you don't have high blood pressure or diabetes and just happen to have chronic kidney disease. But yeah, your kidney's main job is to filter your blood, and it helps absorb nutrients and balance out hormones. So it's quite important. And we say your kidneys are also quite fragile as well. Your kidneys sit, so your kidneys are on your lower back. Obviously you have to, and they kind of sit just right above your bum. That's what you guys can't actually see what I'm doing, but they sit right above your bum. So they're like this. And if you were to hold your fist, they are literally the size of your fist. Okay. So that's how small your kidneys are. And that's why you really got to take care of them. Your kidneys also have capillaries inside them. What are capillaries? So they are very, very small, very, very tiny blood vessels. You guys would have heard me talk a lot about blood vessels when it comes to high blood pressure, because of course you have your blood vessels, and if your blood pressure is too high, obviously blood's shooting through those blood vessels at a high rate. Your heart is under a lot of stress, and the walls within blood vessels are you know, narrowing and narrowing and constricting and constricting. So imagine that with the capillaries in your kidneys, which are very, 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 very small. Okay, so when blood shoots through those capillaries and it's impacted by, well, having high blood pressure, diabetes, just, you know, kidneys that just don't function well due to other things, these capillaries, they can't really do much when it comes to blood flowing through. So when they are restricted, they're more easily impacted, if that makes sense. So you've got your blood vessels, the big ones, and then you've got your tiny, teeny, tiny ones. And these ones are most impacted when it comes to the kidneys. Okay, so that.
Frozen.
Okay, hold on. Please bear with us. If you can hear me, the signal is not that fantastic within the center. So Claire is just sorting out her Wi-Fi at the moment for her to come back on and continue with the presentation. I hope you are enjoying it. I'm just in the background on screen.
Okay. And we're back. Okay. So I'm just going to repeat very quickly the last thing I said. So you've got your blood vessels, your capillaries and the kidneys. They're very, very small. So we say to take care of your kidneys, treat them very gently. They're fragile things, your kidneys, okay? And yes, when you don't take care of your kidneys, these fragile capillaries can become impacted and soak in your kidneys, and yeah, you can become quite sick. So of course, you may have heard of the term dialysis. And there are different stages when it comes to chronic kidney disease. You've got stage 1, and I believe it's up to stage, I want to say stage 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, the last stage, you know, you're on dialysis, and dialysis, it pretty much is a machine that acts like a set of kidneys. So you're hooked onto this machine. It releases some chemicals into your blood, and that helps release toxins from your blood. So it kind of acts like a pair of kidneys. So that's the extreme end of chronic kidney disease. And of course, what we do is we spread awareness about it, because we don't really want anyone to end up at that stage, because it's quite serious. So I'm just going to run you through the most common symptoms associated with chronic kidney disease. So of course, if you experience any of these symptoms, please get this checked out, and I will tell you how to get them checked out. So first off, so just repeating myself there, covering chronic kidney disease. If anybody asks, oh, what is chronic kidney disease? What is CKD? It's chronic kidney disease, and it's where the kidneys struggle to filter out toxins from the blood. That's what chronic kidney disease is in a nutshell. So if you have any of these symptoms, not saying that it means you have chronic kidney disease, it can be down to a whole host of other things, but these are the most common symptoms associated with chronic kidney disease. So the first is needing to use the toilet, especially at night. Another actually is struggling to go to the toilet, just not having a high level of output, urine output. Why is that? Well, if your kidneys are struggling to filter your blood, it's definitely going to struggle to just do anything, i.e. help you pee. So if you find that you're drinking a load of water and you're not really eating much, then I would suggest you get that checked out. Swelling, quite common this, swelling of the legs and ankles, absolutely ties in with some people I've spoken to with chronic kidney disease do bring this up a lot. You know, one of the first signs was swelling of the legs and ankles. Quite serious one, this. So if anybody experiences, to be honest, if anybody has blood just pouring out of an orifice where it shouldn't, you should just anyway get that checked out. So if anybody here find they have blood in their urine, get that checked out, please. Lower back pain, of course. If your kidneys are impacted and they're not doing their job properly, you're going to have pain in the lower back area. And are we all confident as to where the kidneys are located in the body? Would everybody know where the kidneys are located in the body?
Elsie's got her hand.
Yeah. So I'll just pop up my Zoom now. I can see you all again. When I share my screen, I can't actually see everyone's faces. Sorry about that. So everyone's happy. You know, they know where the kidneys are in the body.
Right in the back.
Back, lower back. Yeah.
Lower back, yeah.
Experiencing some sort of chronic pain in that area.
Mhm.
And it's not connected to like any injury you've had or any muscle strain. It's just a strange dull ache in your lower back. I'd say to get that checked out, just to be on the safe side. And of course, difficulty sleeping. And to be honest, if you're if you're suffering from any of these things, it will undoubtedly impact your sleep anyway. But generally, poor sleep goes hand in hand with many long-term conditions and symptoms attributed to these conditions. So if you struggle to sleep and you know it's not down to any event that's happened or anything like that, then look into everything else, especially all of these other symptoms, to see if you're okay. So how do I know if I have chronic kidney disease? Well, of course, there's an easy way to know if you have high blood pressure. You just get your blood pressure checks. And there's an easy way to know if you have diabetes. You can either come and visit me and I'll carry out your risk assessment, and then I'll send off for a GP referral, or you could just head to your GP and ask for a blood test, check your blood sugar levels. Now, I'm quite naturally an inquisitive person, and I desperately wanted to know if there was a way for us to test for chronic kidney disease on site. So I consulted a nurse that we work with, and I consulted a GP, actually had a meeting about many things, but also about this. And her answer was no. The only two ways you can get a test to figure out if you have chronic kidney disease is to get a blood test or a urine test. We used to do finger prick testing, you guys may know, to check your blood sugar levels and your cholesterol levels. Sorry? No, we don't do that anymore. We are fighting to get it back because obviously it's quite popular and it's needed, absolutely needed in the community. So we're fighting to get it back, but we know how, we know how some charities and not-for-profit organizations work. Sometimes you get funded and it runs out. So it's nothing that we've done. It's just one of those things where it ran out of money. But we're hoping it's going to come back. We're doing quite a bit around that to get it back. And yes, so on site, we can check your blood sugar levels. We can check your cholesterol levels. I asked the GP a few times, so there really is nothing we can do on site to check one's blood levels, because we used to check that via a finger prick test when it comes to chronic kidney disease. She said, no, Claire, there is no way. You have to go to your GP and get a proper blood test done, because they have the kind of technologies there to do it, and it's just something that hasn't been established yet to do on site. So get a blood test, get a urine test. They both have different functions. A blood test will tell you how your kidneys are working. So of course, your kidneys filter your blood. So it's very good for that. Another thing about, oh yes, and urine test checks for kidney damage. So if so what they'll check for is if there's a lot of protein that's coming out of your urine. And remember, your kidneys are responsible for absorbing nutrients and, balancing hormones. So if the nutrients, protein is one of them, protein is a nutrient. If that nutrient keeps leaking from your kidneys into your urine, that's not good, okay? Yeah. So that's probably why we can't do it on site, which is there's not really, I mean, I'm sure they're planning on creating some kind of technology around it, but right now, and these are words from the doctor. I quizzed her, I begged her, is there a way? And she was like, no, Claire, there really isn't a way. Like, okay, fine, I'll stop. So it really is just that. So the only way to check whether you have chronic kidney disease is by simply going to your GP. Very easy. Well, no, it's not very easy going to the GP nowadays, but if you happen to be blessed with a good GP practice, we can get you an appointment as soon as. Go there, ask for a blood test. Out of curiosity, if you have high blood pressure and diabetes, they shouldn't actually delay in getting you a blood test anyway, because we know that those two conditions can increase your risk of chronic kidney disease anyway. Hopefully you would have had that test anyway, if you have those two conditions. And with the urine test, it's quite easy. It's probably a lot more faster than a blood test. I think the best thing to do is to get both of these tests, and then you can know the complete, you can just know everything about your kidneys and how they're functioning and how they're basically. One and the other is good, but I'll suggest getting both. The doctor can do some good work around that if they just know the full picture of your kidneys. So if you're ever, is anybody here worries that they may have chronic kidney disease before I continue? Has anybody experienced, let's go back, any of the, oh, no, I can't go back. Okay.
Just to say that, it's good to say that, about these things. We have to look at our medication, what our GP gave us. I had a problem once, a couple of years ago. And I was taking these Aleve tablets from America. I've been taking them for years, and it helps me with pain. And my GP said, "Oh, Elsie, don't take those. I'll give you such and such." I can't remember the name of the tablet. And then he gave it to me. And he said, "I'll take a blood test in a couple months' time," which he did. And 6:45 the night, he rang me to say, "Oh, Elsie, don't take those tablets I gave you. It lower your kidney." So I got to go to the consultant before it was straight to
Lower kidney function. Okay.
So I got to go to the thing. So I went there, they test me and things like that, because I think it's something like 60 or something I should be, and I was really low down to 30, 40. However, to drink a lot of fluid water and no medication they gave me. They just monitor and monitor. It went back to normal, but my GP to have it on file all the time. May check each year. So really, sometimes it's not only what we do, it's what they do to us.
Yep. You made a good point about medication, actually. So yes. So firstly, I'm happy you're better. And you mentioned medication from America. Did I catch that properly?
And I've been taking it over 15 years. It helped my pain. I've been going to America for a long time, taking them. I just sent for some the other day because that is the only one that helped me more than what the GP gives me at times. I don't take them often, but when I need it for the it's an inflammatory as well for my thing. They call Aleve. It was cheap now, they bought it up.
Oh, yeah, Aleve,
They're
yeah.
not in this country.
Interesting. I've never actually heard of this medication.
Yes, but it's really, really, even my children now, since I've been taking them and they have a pain, they say, "Oh, I'll take it in the morning," and that lasts me for the whole day. When they gave me the gabapentin, that made me sleep. I don't see anything in those. This after effect is terrible.
The thing with medication, and this is actually interestingly, medication. So we've got high blood pressure, diabetes, and long-term use of certain medications can actually have a negative effect on the kidneys. And this is linked in with potassium. So there are certain medications prescribed to those who have high blood pressure, and it can result in the buildup of potassium. So potassium and kidneys, they don't have the best relationship with one another. Let's put it that way. So usually, if you have chronic kidney disease, you'll be advised to go on a low potassium diet. And they would undoubtedly look at the medication that you're taking. I mean, I don't know if there are any chronic kidney disease sufferers here. Apart from, well, your close call, Elsie.
I think really when I look at it, why don't they, before we were able to say the doctor and dietitian and things like that, all that being cut out. We have to look at, I mean, when you look at cholesterol, that's another thing. Everybody complaining, the pains they get with cholesterol. Why are they giving it to us to have pain? I'm sorry, why you, instead of you wake up in the morning and you feel, I just don't take them anymore, I just do my own things. The doctor not happy with that, but I'm doing it.
Well, that's your choice. I mean, my stance on medication is a little bit strong. If you're prescribed medication, I advise all clients to take their medication. But if you're, you've done your thing and you know it works,
It's
then
painful. It's really painful.
hmm.
So I just go on those I try to do my diet for myself. I do my smoothie. I do like different fruits. Even I look at my cucumber. I grow those things with carrots and everything. I just can't take the pain. And I think there should be something to do with our diet or tell us what to do more than keep giving us medication.
Where do you get the pain, Elsie? Excuse me.
Well, in my legs.
Oh,
That's
in
what
your
I,
leg.
it's
Oh,
like I having arthritis in the mornings when
all right.
because you have to have it at night.
Okay.
And they gave me 3 different ones and it didn't still help.
Hmm.
That plug work. Like with my batteries don't die.
And my doctor is very good because I'm also one of the PPG, I'm vice chair there. And they're very good doctors, but I explained to him, I just can't take it. Giving me pain. You can't get out. You get out of bed in the morning and you can scarcely walk. No.
So I'm just sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, sorry. But thank you for sharing that with us, Elsie. I'm just going to show you this little lovely
Hello.
little flyer that the Borough of Wandsworth
Oh.
created, and it was to assist us in us spreading the word about chronic kidney disease. So it does cover what I've said, what chronic kidney disease and what it does to the body, what the kidneys do. But I just wanted to point out that kidneys and kidney damage, it does take a long time for the kidneys to become damaged. So it's assumed that if you have diabetes and high blood pressure, you've had it for a long time for it to have resulted in a diagnosis of chronic kidney disease, of course, after you get your urine and your blood tests done. And I just want to make a note that there have been a few people I've spoken to now, because we talk to people who have chronic kidney disease or have the signs and symptoms of it. And oh, sorry, Millie. You have a question? Yes.
Yes,
Sorry
I
about
have
that.
my hand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to well, say something and also ask a question. Because I
Yeah.
find that it's very difficult. I'm going to turn the thing off because sometimes it cuts out. I'm going to turn that off. Turn that off, yeah, so I don't lose the Zoom. Yeah, it's very difficult to come off medication. right? It's very easy for the doctor to write the prescriptions and things. But what I've found in my experience in my surgery is that they don't want to take you off medication. I remember because I have high blood pressure, there was a medication they put me on, and this medication on the little leaflet, it said that one of the things it had side effects about cough, and I was coughing incessantly. And I went to the first GP, they didn't do anything. I went to the second one, and the third GP was the one that actually took me off that medication to go into something else. Yes. And the other thing I want to find out is whether they have any kind of special clinic or whatever to help people to come off medication. Yes, because some things I take, I know that you have to come off slowly and under supervision, but they don't actually do that. So sometimes, people take things into their own hands, you know, because I know a friend of mine who's been on lithium for about 40 years and she's got trouble with her thyroid, her kidneys, and various other things, but they don't, yeah. So I'm just asking about that. And I know, kidney disease is serious.
That's a good question. So I guess I can break this up into 3 answers. So firstly, it's good that you did the right thing and went to a different GP practice to find a GP who, well, by the sounds of it, listens to you enough to make the changes you wanted. So that's good. Because some people don't realize that they can actually just, if they're not happy with their GP or their GP practice, they can go elsewhere and just register with another GP practice if they allow it, because some GP practices say, no, we're full, we can't take any more patients. So it's great that you've done that. All I can say, why do they not take you off medication? Why do GPs not take you off medication? There's many things they need to look into before they are happy and confident that once they take you off the medication, your condition will remain stabilized. So they will look into things that you need to change. They will look into factors like, are you eating healthily? Have you dropped the BMI? That's quite important. They would look into, all these other sort of preventative measures first. If you've got a strong hold on various things in your lifestyle that's contributed to you getting the condition, and then they would start to wean you off it. But yes, it's a long process. It's not impossible. It's a long process, but there are some clients who, they don't want to do the work. And I'm not saying this is you, absolutely not. I'm just saying just certain examples have told me that some clients don't want to do the work, they just don't want to be on the medication. But the thing is, once you're on medication, if you can work with the medication by, working on BMI, working on your sleep, working on all of the various aspects of health that can help with your condition, the effectiveness of the medication will increase, and the effectiveness of all the preventative measures. And then your doctor's going to see that and think, okay, now I'm going to monitor you to see how you fare when I drop the dose of this medication. You keep the lifestyle thing going, all those good measures, and then come to the decision to take you off medication. I have seen people come off medication. I know people actually happen to have come off medication. They've put their diabetes in remission. They don't take the metformin anymore. Their doctors told them so. Their blood pressure has dropped to healthy ranges, to a healthy range rather. Their doctor decides, okay, no, you don't need the meds anymore. But it's a long process. It didn't happen overnight. It took many, many months for them to get there. And yeah. And also we don't want the risk of the doctor telling you not to take the medication and then your condition getting worse as well. There's that. So there's many things they need to look into before they decide you shouldn't be on that medication anymore. Yeah. So I don't know if that helps answer your question. Are there any clinics that can assist?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure if there are clinics. That's definitely something I'd love to look into, if there are clinics that can support it, but they would probably need to have a nurse or a doctor on site to kind of
Yeah.
like support any conversations that have happened around that area.
Okay.
Because with my job, I have never ever told anybody to stop taking a medication, and I feel actually quite strongly about it when, you know, thankfully nobody I work with has advised that. It's just a number one rule. If someone's taking a medication, just encourage them to continue taking it. If they want to get off it, then they need to do a whole host of other things to support the effectiveness of the medication, so that, you know, the doctor's like, let's drop the doses and yeah, to get you off that medication completely. I don't know if that answers your question, Millie.
Yeah, yes. Well, my
Yeah.
GP was quite pleased with my blood and urine tests, that everything was okay. It's only my
Okay.
cholesterol that I'm working on. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sure once you work on it and things start changing, I'm sure it will build his confidence in starting that journey and getting you off medication.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
just say to you, please, could they still carry on what they, I mean, people never used to be talking about all these things before. With my experiences, when I been a social worker, they said, oh, you know, you have a dietitian at this surgery, you will see that. I know money is hard, but for us not to keep going there, I think it's important for people to start to learn how to tell us about our eating habits. I know that they have, I did a course with the Asian group, BME before, where they give us a book on what to eat and what's the sugar in what and what and what. Do you understand? But before it used to be someone at the doctor's surgery who advises you all the time and give you information how to deal with these things.
Yeah. I am going to comment on what you've said, Elsie. I just noticed Claudette's hands up. It's been
Yes,
up for a while. Sorry, Claudette. Hold that thought, Elsie. Claudette, what was your question?
yes, it's not a question as such, but it's a semi. I was just thinking about what Millie had said about the lithium carbonate. When I was working in the CPN department, lithium carbonate was one of the medication that was prescribed to some people who had some form of mental illness. And one of the responsibility that we had as nurses is that we had to monitor that on a regular basis. We also had to make sure that the patients were having their bloods checked on a regular basis as well, to prevent anyone having a fall into a toxic state with the lithium. And there were sometimes you could help and spot some of the symptoms that these people were experiencing, but a lot of it was down to the individual, what they did when you don't see them. Because when you're working in the community, it's not as if the patients are, say, in a home where you go regularly to look after them, but a lot of them was living in their own home. So it was very difficult to monitor it, but yet it was one of our responsibility just to make sure that they had these regular checks, and that was at least 3 to 6 monthly, that they had to have those blood tests done to make sure that they didn't fall into toxic state at all. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention as well is the omeprazole. The omeprazole pump, they don't actually tell you, it's called is it a proton pump inhibitor, the omeprazole. They don't actually tell you so much about these negative side effects that you could experience. It's down to you to really do all of the checks and read and research to find out how it can affect you. They hear about the good things that it can do, but they don't normally go into depth to tell you about the negative effects that it can really have on you. So I'm wondering if that is something that prescribers need to start thinking about more, or something more to talk about in some of the sessions that you have with people that comes to see you from a health perspective, because sometimes we forget, you know, that we're taking these medications. Sometimes we don't even recognize that what your experiences are side effects, because you think as you're getting older, it comes with aches and pains and groans and changes in your body, when really it's the medication that's causing it. So it's just something I thought I'd bring up, and to see if it's something that could be included in discussions as we have these health talks a bit more. Thank you.
I really I like what you've said there, Claudia, and I think sorry, Claudette, sorry,
Okay.
and I guess it's a little bit easier in your case because you have like that, obviously that background, that medical
Yeah.
background, so you know first line of defense is okay. Let me look into this medication and what this medication does, and that's great. And sadly, yes, there are a majority of people out there who don't do that because, you know, the doctor is not going to first list all of the negative side
Exactly.
effects that comes with the
Yeah.
medication. They're going to list all of the positive things.
Positives,
so that
yeah.
You take the medication so that it helps with your health. What we do though is that we, you know, like I said earlier, there's a lot that comes with the program I'm a part of, and we do help to empower the individual. We do encourage the individual to ask questions. Some people don't, you know, when they're sat in a GP's office, they're a little bit shy, they're a little
Yeah.
bit, you know, they don't want to feel silly or a little bit stupid if they ask those quite obvious questions. And to be honest, within that moment, nobody cares whether you come off as silly or stupid, just ask
Yeah.
because it's important for your health at the end of the day. So we do that. I agree that we do need to do more around it and we need to have more conversations. And you've got me thinking now. I actually took a few notes while you were talking. So hopefully we could do something like that, a little chat around how to further empower an individual so that
Yes.
they can look into medications. One thing I did want to mention that I'd noted was NHS website is quite good in listing sort of very general things about medications. It's quite comprehensive, the NHS website. So if there is a medication like lithium carbonate that someone has just been prescribed and they have no clue what it does to the body, they can actually pop onto the NHS website, type it in, and they can read everything that comes with the medication, the good and the bad. Yeah. The NHS website is quite good for that. I'm a bit picky with my sources when it comes to the internet because of the misinformation, but NHS website is pretty good. And another website called NICE, National Institute of Care Excellence, very, very good when it comes to anything to do with health, to be honest. So those are two go-to websites if you're ever curious about whatever medication you're taking. But no, that's a good point. Well, that absolutely.
Okay.
And Elsie, I said to hold your thought. You mentioned, remind me, sorry, what you mentioned.
About the dietitians and how can they help us to...
Yeah. So I believe you can get, well, it does cost money, sadly. You can get a personal dietitian. They do have like, yeah, GPs can make a referral, but I think there's a lot to look into there. So say if you have a high BMI and you're struggling to lose weight, there are many programs within the NHS where they can refer you. But I think when it comes to a personal dietitian, yeah, there's a lot around that. It's not easy from what I hear to get that. And but thankfully there are people like us. There are people who train those in the community. So I'm one of the trainers and the trainees, I guess. Yeah. And I go around and I give talks on 5 aspects of health. So exercise, nutrition, fiber, sleep, and well-being. And the thing about these talks is that we make them quite easy, accessible. We don't bog it down in like medical terminology. They've been very well received at the moment, to be honest. And I'm hoping to do one. I'm hoping to do one for you guys. Actually, I was hoping to do one for today's session, but unfortunately, I need a small group of people. I've been told off by the doctor. She said, Claire, you can't do it with big groups. It has to be small. I was like, okay. So it has to be around 10, 11 max.
So you could have referrals and you get those people together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it would work with the Young at Hearts group because I know it's an open invite to all, so we can't really bring the size down. So the max, you know, I spoke to
I don't think everybody here needs. My needs are different to someone else, isn't it?
yeah. So like I could do one on sleep, and there might be not many people because everybody, you know, the majority of people might have good sleep, and then might be another one on exercise where
Sleep,
there's a lot of people.
Sleep deprivation, everybody have different sleeping patterns. The sleep deprivation, we have so much of that.
Yeah.
And you following what you're doing, because I do follow. When I took any training I have, I try to implement it. I'm just telling the truth.
Sleep is one of my favorite subjects.
Deprivation.
Of all the subjects, sleep is like up there. Like I did a talk earlier today on mental well-being, and I went down a little route about sleep, and then we were talking about sleep, and then I had to bring back the conversation to mental well-being because we were just lost in the conversation. It's quite fascinating.
We had
And
it with Lee. Lee was very good. Sleep deprivation. And I
yeah.
still follow what he says.
Who? Sorry, mention the name.
Lee.
Lee.
He was there last week at BME.
You weren't here. Yeah.
Talk a lot with BME before.
Oh, okay.
Lee Townsend, I think it's Townsend, is there?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. So we will do one on sleep.
We will do one on the sleep, but I can't. So I can see the participants are at 18 max, so that would be too many. So what I could do is I could do
2 sessions.
Yeah, a session where you guys could book in, so I know that it keeps to the number 10. 6 weeks is a favorable size, but they
So
said
who attend that one will then attend another one,
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Happy to do that, and it is very good, and it's quite exciting. And today, I got some feedback, and they said whenever I talk about sleep, I'm just so enthusiastic about it. And I was like, oh, thank you very much.
Favorite thing
because it's my favorite thing to talk.
It's so good because I start listening to Premier Channel, the soothing ones and meditation. I had it. It's really good at sleep deprivation for.
Yeah. So I'm gonna wrap up now.
Thank you very much.
Today. Thank you guys, and I hope to see you again. And definitely we'll hope to do a sleep session. I'm gonna let Shelley come back. There we go. Hello. And I'm gonna say goodbye.
Look into those medication. I want to get my cholesterol down. Thank you very much. Well done.
So ladies and gents, I hope that you enjoyed this session today on chronic kidney disease, CKD. How many of you, with a raise of hands, I can't see half of you, but if you show your screens, could show that you kind of learned something new today and understood what CKD is. I've seen Elsie's hand. I don't know if everybody, Claudette, Paulette, Esther, everybody else is hiding themselves, so I can't even determine whether you found it at all useful.
Tell them send your message. Tell them send your message.
Yeah, send me a message in the Young at Heart.
I can't do the message.
So clever, Elsie. Jen, thank you for your thumbs up. Yes. Millie, thank you. Millie, have you got a question? Is that hand raised?
No, I'm putting my hand up that I like the session.
Oh, you're putting your hand up. Okay, thank you so much. Paulette, did you have one final question?
Yeah, can I just say something? Just an observation. It was quite useful. And when we talk about side effects of our medication, don't forget that we have a leaflet in your tablet box to read. Lots of information on that. So that's where you want to go to first.
I know that.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you so much for that. I guess, what the ladies are saying, that they're aware of those side effects, but if doctors could also discuss it with them so they have autonomy, they have autonomy before they go and get those medication first to say, actually, that one doesn't sound so good. Maybe the next one does. But no, very good point. Thank you so much. And I'd just like to say thank you all for listening today. And Claudette, you've got your hand up before I say thank you to Claire.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, yes, we're very much aware that those leaflets are in the medication box, but some of the language that they use inside have some different terminologies, and sometimes they say one thing and you're wondering, what does this mean? So you want something in layman's terms, something simple that everyone can understand. And I think the more and more that's being repeated, the better it will be for us who are taking the medication to understand.
And the doctors haven't got that information because we have it. They don't see it in the box.
Okay. Thank you so much, Paulette.
Sorry, can I just? I'm just wondering, does your surgery have a pharmacist attached? Because my surgery has a pharmacist attached, so I had to go to her last time for information regarding my medication. Is that so with everybody else?
No.
Yeah, yeah.
We have it at the surgery. We don't have it.
Sorry, Claudette, back to you. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry to keep on, but my point is, it's not that, for me, it's not a major problem because of the background I'm coming from. But there are sometimes it's when we're having like these health discussions, sometimes there's things that come up that if you've got that information from the person that's talking to you about what questions you've asked, it's easier for you to be able to understand and not say, let's go back to your GP, because you can read those things. And as Perry said, you can go to the internet and look at what's it called, the NHS website or the NICE guidelines. It's all there. But some of the terms that they use, I know it's not that clear. So yes, and we do have a pharmacist attached to a GP practice. In fact, there is two. But trying to get appointment with them sometimes is almost as difficult as trying to get one with the GP. But for me, it's not a major problem at all to understand the side effects. But it's contributing something towards the session that we're having on wellness and well-being. It's to have that information there ready for people.
It's more on our terms.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Claudette. Thank you, Paula, and thank you, Elsie, and everybody else who has contributed to today's session. I'm conscious of time. We're now at 4:22 p.m. But I would just like to say that I found this session very, very useful. I had no idea what CKD or chronic kidney disease consisted of and what the signs and symptoms were. So it's great that we have lovely Claire here from our BME Forum long-term health condition team that is willing to come on and share her knowledge. So off the back of that, I've heard a lot of you requesting sleep hygiene, what that looks like. So I will try and ensure that I bombard Claire with emails so that she can come back on another week, and we will cover a session on sleep, and that will be broken down into 2 groups or 3 groups, depending on how many people want to come on and have that information about good sleep hygiene, what it looks like, what you can do to help settle yourself and have a good night's sleep. With that being said, we do have a session next week. So Young at Heart is also going on next week, Wednesday, from 3 p.m. until 4:30 p.m. as usual. So Young at Heart is every first and last Wednesday of every month. And I will let you know and inform you of the information that we will be covering next week. If Claire is available, I'm looking at her so beautifully to say if she's available to cover sleep so that we have continuity on the session, then that would be fantastic. But I will keep you updated on what is happening. But I'd just like to say thank you very much, Claire, for coming on. Millie, can you message me, because I'm just finishing out.
Yeah, I just wanted to find out because I came on after Malcolm did his piece. Was that bit recorded, what he was saying? Because I want to know more about, yeah, what he does. All right.
Possibly. So we're looking to
Right,
cover something on dementia, on
Okay.
Alzheimer's Week on the 15th, but I'll send information once I do have the flyer and stuff, so that it's more straightforward to the group.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Right.
yeah,
Lovely.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. But I just want to say, yeah, you're welcome. I just want to say thank you to Claire and thank you to all for coming on this afternoon. And next week will be lots of information and lots of fun as usual. So do jump on at 3 p.m. if you can. And we'd love to see you. So thank you all for coming on. Thank you, Malcolm, as well, for sharing information.
Thank you,
And
Shelley. Thank you,
Thanks,
Shelley,
Shelley.
to set up all these things for us. Thank you so much. Thanks.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye, all. Have a
Bye.
happy
Bye,
Thanks.
Easter.
everybody.
Yeah,
Don't eat
cool
too much
too.
banana
Happy
cheese.
Easter.
Not too